Hi, Taylor T. Carlson here, and continuing our coverage of classic films hitting 4K today. Today we're going to pay a visit to one of my favorite actors slash comedians, Eddie Murphy. We're going to be looking at this 2-pack, which includes his very first feature film. This is a 4K 2-pack of 48 Hours, and its sequel, another 48 Hours. As usual, I'm going to unbox this release, and I'm going to share my opinions and let you know if I recommend the release or not. Under the slipcover, we have, as you'd expect, pretty much the same thing. As with most films you buy from mainstream studios these days, you get digital copies of both films. Here's our 4K disc of 48 Hours, 4K disc of another 48 Hours, Blu-ray of 48 Hours, and Blu-ray of another 48 Hours. I'll read the plot summaries of the films that are on the case and let you know what these movies are all about, if you haven't seen them before, of course. 48 Hours, originally released in 1982. Eddie Murphy rocketed to movie star status and earned a Best Actor Golden Globe nomination in 48 Hours, the acclaimed action comedy that pushes the limits of both genres. Nick Nolte is unforgettable as Jack Cates, a rough-edged inspector on the hunt for two vicious cop killers. Unlikely ride-along con Reggie Hammond, Murphy, is given a 48-hour leave from prison to help Cates on the case. This was followed up in 1990 with the sequel, Another 48 Hours. The boys are back in town, and the faster, tougher, smash sequel that reunites director Walter Hill with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. 8 years after the first 48 Hours of mayhem, Reggie, Murphy, is about to be released from the pen. But after the bus transporting him from the pen flips over 17 times, Inspector Jack Cates, Nolte, enlists the ex-con for another seemingly impossible 2-day task to nail an elusive drug lord. All careers have to start someplace. A lot of people don't realize that Eddie Murphy actually had made a few films prior to the release of the original Beverly Hills Cop. I think roughly 3 films or so. And 48 Hours was his very first movie, which teamed him up with Nick Nolte. The movie's often credited with being one of the major precursors to the buddy cop genre, which has become insanely popular even to this day. The two have a great chemistry and, of course, plenty of fantastic action scenes in both movies. The first movie even includes, in its cast, David Patrick Kelly and James Remar, both of whom had previously starred in the film The Warriors, also directed by Walter Hill. Walter Hill had a pretty diverse filmography. I mean, he directed The Warriors, he directed these 2 movies, and even directed the comedy Brewster's Millions, which starred John Candy and Richard Pryor. I actually reviewed that a while back on this channel as well. The sequel came out in 1990, and I have to say, even if the sequel doesn't quite touch the original, it's not a bad movie. Admittedly, kind of more of the same in a lot of ways, but that's not necessarily a bad thing when you have Nolte and Murphy playing off of one another, combining a nice mixture of action and comedy. Both actors had pretty big improvements in their popularity since then. Eddie Murphy was pretty much just known for comedy when he made his feature film debut in 48 Hours, but by the time Another 48 Hours came along, he was pretty much the biggest movie star and comedian in the world. And I believe it was actually Murphy that had the idea of doing a sequel. Well, I have to admit that the first film is my favorite. Both of them are very good, and I'm happy to see that they get a proper 4K release here from Paramount. I am a little weary when it comes to reviewing 4K releases of older films from Paramount because their track record seems to be a little hit and miss, including the recent releases of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, as well as Saturday Night Fever. I'm happy to say that the 48 Hours movies do not suffer in any way. These movies look fantastic in 4K, giving you the expected upgrades that you'd want from the format. Colors are more vibrant, the shadow levels and black levels are deeper, plenty of detail to go around, more vibrant colors. And since these movies have a lot of scenes set at night and in dark places, they're just the kind of thing that HDR was made for, and I'm very happy to see that Paramount has done right by these movies for their 4K debuts. There are no bonus features on the 4K discs, but each of the Blu-ray discs includes a filmmaker focus featurette with Walter Hill, and this shows some making of footage, behind the scenes photos, They also have theatrical trailers, and the first movie has the complete Space Kid cartoon that's briefly seen in the movie, which was part of the Novel Toon cartoon series back in the 1960s. Kind of an odd extra, but I'm actually very glad that they included that here. If you love action comedies, buddy cop movies, or just plain anything that Eddie Murphy does, the 48 Hours movies are definitely worth watching, and I highly recommend this 2-pack. They're also both available as separate 4K discs, but you will save a few bucks if you get this 2-pack. What are your thoughts on the 48 Hours films? Have you picked up this 4K release of the movies yet? Are you going to get the 2-pack or just get them individually, or maybe just the first one? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content, because I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.